Hello, families, and welcome to our first grade curriculum night. I'm Mrs. Adranya, and joining me in this presentation is going to be Miss Thompson, Mrs. Palacio, and Miss Warren. We are your first grade teachers this year. To begin this presentation, I am going to share a real quick video from Mrs. Smith, our principal.
Good evening, Culture and Web STEM Elementary School families. I am your proud principal, Miss Smith, and wanted to welcome you to our first ever virtual curriculum night. Thank you so much for your dedication to online virtual learning and being so supportive of our entire school community during these very uncertain times. We hope that you have an incredible evening alongside your teachers and students' classmates to learn more about our school's curriculum. We will begin with a few school-wide celebrations. Our new learning environment has no doubt come with many adjustments and learned skill sets, especially centered around technology. As a school community, we have risen to the challenges and are fully engaged with excellent attendance from our students and a new knowledge base of utilizing online tools. Again, thank you for your patience and continued support in making online learning a true success at Culture and Web. We also want to welcome our new PTCO board, Ms. Tadlock, our president, and Ms. Lynch, our treasurer. They have worked this summer on exciting upcoming events, celebrations, and additions to our campus, despite starting school in a virtual environment. Later in this presentation, you'll learn more about how to become involved with our amazing PTCO. On this slide, you can find a breakdown of our demographics and instructional staff members at Culture and Web for the 2020-2021 school year. Our school improvement team met this summer and will continue to meet monthly to work towards achieving our school level goals. On this slide, you will see our 3 goals related directly to student achievement, STEM curriculum implementation, and social emotional learning for all students. Culture and Web is a Title I school, which means that we receive federal funding that we then utilize at the school level to increase student achievement, support family and parent engagement, and purchase additional instructional supplies and resources that benefit our entire school community. This year, we received approximately $155,294, which will be utilized to fund 1 classroom teacher, 1 technology teacher assistant, a full-time tutor, a family liaison, and supplies and materials for our media center, technology resources, and parent involvement initiatives. On this slide, you can find a breakdown of our Title I budget purchases for the 2020-2021 school year. At Culture and Web, a top priority is a clear initiative to cultivate and foster parent and family engagement. Please be sure to log into Scribbles via our homepage to sign off on our newly updated engagement compact found within our parent-student handbook. As always, continue to communicate with your students' teachers via Classroom Dojo, email, and/or phone call. Be sure that you are talking with your students every day about what they have learned in school, and once we come back to campus, inquire about volunteer opportunities with your students' teacher. Lastly, families will be contacted at the end of the quarter regarding parent-teacher conferences by their classroom teachers. A fantastic way to become involved and support our school is by joining our PTCO. Our PTCO meets the first Tuesday of every month at 7 p.m. via Microsoft Teams, and our next meeting will be on Tuesday, October 6th at 7 p.m. Please check out Class Dojo and our social media platforms for the link to join. We are in need of family volunteers to discuss our upcoming fall fundraiser, community events, teacher appreciation, and much more. Be sure to check out the PTCO Facebook page and like it for updates. You may also have noticed your students engaging in social emotional learning lessons during their live virtual meetings each morning. These lessons are designed to help students build resilience, expand coping skills, improve relationships, and achieve goals. Our Student Support Services team members are here to help support students and staff through academic and social emotional growth. Additional information about SEL curriculum, including follow-up questions you can ask at home, can be found on the Student Services webpage. We hope that you have an incredible evening learning all about our curriculum and engaging in an exciting STEM challenge alongside your students' classroom teachers. From 6:15 to 7, please feel free to visit all your students' classroom teachers' meetings to ask any clarifying questions. Our Encore and Student Services teams will also be available, and links to their meetings can also be found on their websites and Canvas pages. Finally, do not forget to complete the feedback form at the end of the evening and follow us on our social media platforms for updates and celebrations. We hope you have a great evening and cannot wait until we can all be together in person again.
Next, I have a short story about what the day in the life of a first grader during remote learning looks like. The day in the life of a first grader. What does remote learning look like for a first grader? A first grader wakes up early, ready to start their day. They eat their breakfast before coming to class. A first grader finds a good spot to work, one that is quiet and allows them to sit up and look at their computer. They join their class on time and have their materials close by. A first grader knows their small group days. They also know to check their Canvas page every day and complete their work. A first grader knows that they should visit the right Encore each day. They know it's important to do their iReady and iStation lessons. They also try to read a little each day. Way to go, first graders! In this slideshow, we will be going over our Culture and Web mission statement, PBIS and how we're including social and emotional learning, first grade curriculum, first grade grading policy and what report cards look like, first grade testing, and attendance.
Hello, my name is Mrs. Palacio. I am also a first grade teacher this year. Thank you for coming tonight to Curriculum Night. I'm going to go over some of our slideshow slides that we have. We're going to first start with our Culture and Web Elementary School mission statement. Overall, the vision of our school is to prepare every student for success through STEM education. Our personal mission, one that we voted on this year, is to foster each student's innate curiosity and joy of discovery. We're going to prepare students to be academically successful, socially aware, scientifically literate, respectful, responsible citizens in the global community. We're going to achieve this by combining student-centered, collaborative, and problem-based learning with active parental and community involvement. This is what each child is given every Friday. When you log into your Canvas course, your child is given the opportunity to be presented with a PBL. This is just a small sample of what your kid will be doing in our classroom. If your child went to our school last year in kindergarten, they're very familiar with this style of learning. If you're new to our school, welcome, and your child will be involved, and they will enthrall through all of the activities that we have. Part of our school, we have our PBS presentation, and this occurs daily. It's basically a positive behavior intervention support. We foster being safe, being responsible, and being respectful. This is a motto that we do daily through our STEM news when we're in the classroom, and this is something that we approach very carefully, and we make sure that your child understands each section of our PBIS model, so that way they're successful in demonstrating their knowledge. In our classroom, each child is aware of the matrix and where it is posted. Just this year, our matrix has completely changed. So this year, until we go back, we have a special virtual learning and technology matrix that we have incorporated on our daily lessons. And it goes with the 3 models of being respectful, responsible, and safe. And it's different things that children at this age may not know that we actually have to teach them. When you are on virtual learning, are you using kind words? How does your face look? Are you listening while others are speaking? How do you care for your technology that you have in front of you? Are you making sure that you're communicating online safely? The messages that you send, is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? Is it kind? We all want responsible children. And when your child comes to our school, we teach them how to be ready, how to be on time, ready to learn, have all of your materials ready, and to make sure that we're using our chat feature appropriately. When your child logs off, they're responsible for making sure that their device is charged. They're making sure that everything is ready to go. Everything is closed out by the end of the day so they can participate the next day and not have any roadblocks. One of the things that we also focus in with our matrix is staying on task. Is your child coming to their groups? Are they participating? Are they safe? Do they have an appropriate learning space? It goes along with our technology as well, holding our devices carefully, responsibly, making sure that we are on those sites only assigned. And also always reaching out to an adult if somebody is mean or has used unkind words online. Our next slide goes into our PBIS, and that is something that your child is very familiar with as far as class dojo points. Each teacher gives class dojo points, and that is very different from one class to another. I know throughout the entire school, Encore teachers give out their points, and that's something that you can also look for on your child's dojo account. We will continue to use these points to celebrate your child, whether it's something that they earned monthly through Student of the Month based on their personality trait, something that they've done that's just first grade fabulous work, kindness, anything. A variety of points can be awarded for multiple activities. We want to celebrate you, celebrate your kids, so we are dojo happy when it comes to points. Thank you very much for listening to this part of our curriculum night. I'm going to hand it back over to the next teacher.
First grade curriculum. What will we learn this year? First grade curriculum picks up right where kindergarten curriculum left off. As a whole group, we continue learning through mini lessons, and then students do independent work. We also have small groups, which are differentiated, and students are getting just the exact right lessons that they need. One of the first things that is special to Coltrane Webb Elementary is our STEM learning. In first grade and throughout their career at Coltrane Webb, we use problem-based learning, which is not a new curriculum, but it's instead a method in teaching. We give students a problem and they work through the problem and learn along the way while they are solving the problem. We have continued to give PBLs during virtual learning. Every Friday, we share a new PBL on our Canvas page for students to experiment and create or engineer something. And then they share their pictures of their creation with us, and it has been really wonderful. Students work to investigate and analyze problems, and they use this 4-step process. This is our Coltrane Webb design cycle. They used it in kindergarten, and they'll use it all the way up through 5th grade, where they investigate, plan, create, and evaluate. We have been including parts of these in PBLs at home. Next, I'm going to go through just what our curriculum looks like in reading. We are teaching through read alouds, where we are teaching the ideas of decoding words and working on rhyming and syllables and a lot of those reading foundations. We also talk about those story elements such as characters and traits, retelling stories, that comprehension, beginning, middle, end. And by reading the same story all week, we are showing fluency as well. We also will move into informational text, which are those nonfiction books that are real books with real pictures. We also look at some different genres. As I said, we do nonfiction, fiction, and we also will look at poetry. At the end of the year, we start going into cross-checking, and that goes along with making sure that our reading sounds right and we're thinking about what we've just read as we're reading. Our writing, we are integrating this year into our read aloud. So our personal narratives have been going along with the stories that we've been reading. We might be thinking of a connection during the story and then write about maybe something like that has happened to us. We'll also begin making nonfiction chapter books where students will research and write about new things they're learning. We will be doing writing reviews, which is sharing your opinion. We actually go through a star system and give books 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars. We do continue to work on how-to books, which they started in kindergarten. And we'll also move on to fiction stories. We teach that through writing comics because we know students really love those stories like Fly Guy and Dog Man, which is told in a comic style. In math, we started the year with number sense and such as seeing numbers in the world around us. We're moving into addition and subtraction. There's lots that goes along with addition and subtraction. We're working on word problems, which we use the numbers all the way 1 through 20. We work on addition and subtraction fluency. We want students to be able to add and subtract quickly the numbers 1 through 10. In place value, we will be working all the way up through 100 with tens and ones. We'll also work on comparing those numbers. So those will be larger numbers than they used in kindergarten. We will be doing non-standard measurement where students don't use rulers, but they'll use tools like erasers or paper clips to measure objects and compare them. We continue working with 2D and 3D shapes. We also will move on to partitioning, which is the beginning of fractions. And then first graders do practice telling time to the hour and half hour. In science, we alternate science and social studies, so we just focus on one at a time. In science, we talk about the earth and moon. We talk about earth properties such as soil and water and air. And we'll talk about rocks and the colors and textures that we see in rocks. We continue talking about living things. They learned about the basic needs in kindergarten, and we'll continue building on that in first grade. And that leads right into ecosystems on how the environment can provide those basic needs for living things. And then for forces and motions, students learned a little bit last year, and we'll keep building on that and move into magnets as well, which is always fun. In social studies, we've been working on our civics and government in our community currently. Then we'll have geography, where students will learn about maps and about landforms. We spend time understanding diverse cultures from around the world. We talk about humans and the environment, how we can have an impact on the world around us. We'll look at economic choices such as wants and needs and supply and demand. And then we'll be looking at change over time, how our community around us has changed.
Hi families, I'm Miss Thompson, and I am going to be talking to you about the grading policy and report cards. So at our school in Cabarrus County, we use standards-based report cards to report students' level of mastery with grade level standards. So your child will be scored in 2 different areas, learning skills and in their academics first grade grade level Common Core standards. So as you can see in learning skills, your child will be
either rated with a level C, which stands for they consistently are showing this behavior, S, which means they are sometimes showing this behavior, N, which means not yet. They have not displayed this behavior yet. With the standards based, they will either get five scores. So NA means that it was previously taught in another marking period. So maybe we taught it in first quarter, but we don't come back to it in second. So you might see an NA. 1 means your child is making limited progress toward grade level standards. So you may see some 1s because students, missed the end of kindergarten, and so we're trying to catch them up. 2, progressing toward grade level standards. So 2s are great. That means your child is really working towards meeting like where they should be by the end of the year. 3 means meets grade level expectations and grade level standards. So they are right there where they need to be. They totally understand it and they can show it. And then 4 means they exceed grade level standards. So they can show it, they can explain it, and they consistently do that. Okay. So students are scored in work habits, citizenship, reading, writing, science, social studies, math, and encore bi-quarterly. Okay, and their scores indicate progress made towards the end of the year standard. So where they are now compared to where they should be at the end of the year. All right, next, I'm going to talk to you about first grade testing. So in first grade, we do a lot of different tests, and it's really important that you understand them and know when they should be taken. So we have iReady Math. iReady Math is what the district chose to use for math this year, and students will take a beginning, middle, and end of the year diagnostic. They should not be receiving any help on these tests. And the reason why they don't receive any help is because they based on where they score, that is how they will move through just right lessons that will be used to place them in those lessons. So if a student scores really high on a beginning of the year diagnostic, their lessons are going to be really, really high. Even if someone else helped them. And so it's really important that students do it on their own by themselves, because then when it places them, it gives them just right lessons, they won't need any assistance or help. Okay? And we want students to try to average at least 40 minutes a week on iReady Math. Next is iStation. Students are scored in 5 different domains in iStation reading. So we have letter knowledge, which is how fast they can touch the letter. So if they say touching the letter A, or if they say the letter O, finding the letter O. So it's about really quickness. Phonemic awareness, which is basically, putting sounds together to make words. Alphabetic decoding is like nonsense words. So if I give you the letters M-I-V, will you be able to know that that's MIV? Okay, so being able to put those, like to read fake words. Reading comprehension, they basically will say a sentence such as, the man was walking down the street with a dog, and they have to pick the picture that matches. So if they just pick a picture of a man walking, that won't work. If they pick a picture of a dog, that won't work. They have to put it all together and find the picture of the man walking the dog. Okay, and spelling is really challenging because it hits on some things that we haven't gotten to yet in phonics. So such as, when 2 vowels go walking, like E-E or E-A. It also focuses on those digraphs, like and trigraphs sometimes. So, we have our SH and we have our CH. And sometimes it works on those blends too, those L blends like SL, R blends, DR. And so those are some things we haven't gotten to yet. Okay, so doing letterling can really help your child out in the spelling department. So students will complete an assessment at the beginning, middle, and end of the year, but they will also be required to have monthly progress monitoring. So any of the domains they scored, they didn't score really high in, or that shows opportunities for growth, we will push that out to them each month for them to complete so they can get better and better and better at that. Okay? And then, the last assessment that students will take
is a RAS Kids running record. So this assessment will be done periodically throughout the year. We'll assign books to students on RAS Kids, and they will log into their RAS Kids, go to assignments, and they will record themselves reading. And we do this for a variety of reasons, but mainly for fluency, to see how fast and how quickly they're reading, accuracy, how correct they are reading the words. So not just looking at a word that starts with the letter S and saying any word, but really looking at it and seeing what the word is and what it could be. We also look at it for reading comprehension purposes, because at the end they'll answer a 5-question or 10-question quiz depending on the level, but also to get a feel for where their reading level is. Since we aren't seeing them right now, it'll be a lot easier to do when we are in person and we go back to school on Plan A. So again, here are the buttons, and we wanted to really, get students comfortable with looking at the icons and being able to figure out which program they are in. So of course, the blue and white C is Clever. That's how you get to everything. So it's really important that students log into Clever, because then they will be able to see everything that they have offered to them. The boy with the cape, the red cape on his back, that is iStation. And then the cube, the different color cubes, that's iReady Math. So we have iStation Reading, iReady Math, Clever. And these are adaptive programs. So they are based on the levels of the students based off of what their diagnostic scores were. Okay, so they should not be receiving any help whenever they do these assessments, because we really want to see consistent scores. We want to see if they match up to the running record, which matches up to the iStation Reading, which matches up to what we're doing in reading groups. Okay, and so when we see a discrepancy, it's really hard to figure out where students go, or what's their just right reading level, or what we can help them with and what they need more assistance with in their small groups. So just really making sure that we are not giving students the answers, we are not helping them during the test, and we're really encouraging them to choose the best answer and to really give their best. Okay, and if that's their best, then their best is their best. Okay, I would much rather see their best and I can see where I can help them with than it looks like they're perfect and they know everything and I'm like, well, what do I do next? Okay, so those are just the testings, the tests that you guys will be seeing your child complete this school year.
This is Ms. Warren here, and I'm just going to be sharing our attendance policy for virtual learning. So attendance is submitted every day, Monday through Thursday, by 11 a.m. by us teachers. So as your children are logging into our Teams meeting, we are keeping an eye on that and going over and marking them as present. So that is submitted by 11 a.m. Monday through Thursday after our live lessons. Now, if they're completing assignments, that is also counted as attendance. So we appreciate that. On Fridays, when they are working on their PBL and catching up on assignments that they might not have completed during the week, we do not submit attendance until 2 p.m. So we actually log into Canvas and we check and see who's logged on, who's completing those PBLs. So on Fridays, attendance is submitted by 2 p.m. And if you have any documentation for your child's absence, please share those with us and we will get those to Ms. Nunes so that it can be an excused absence. So thank you, everyone.